it's not the business for someone who wants to sit in an office and do shit all day, because there's no way you can thrive in this business by doing that. As I mentioned earlier, there's no political backup here. Even the extreme left is not on board on this. Not the extreme left, and besides, not even the extreme. Besides of that, the thing about this is that, what's the plan here? Just wait for a moment here. Okay, remember that this is live, so I'm doing like a lot of stuff on it. Okay, so going back to the subject, I want to get back to it, and this is one of the main reasons why we do this. One of the main reasons why we still marching on the Fundación Frijuana, and one of the main reasons is because of this. Now we got a government who's trying to rip off these people who have taken the bet of their lives. And we want to make them look bad for something that is really deficient in the government. Something that is really deficiencies between the government, because the Department of Health has all this information stored every day on all the activities. They have access to the mainframe information system of all dispensaries and all cultivation centers. The fact that they're not communicating this with Hacienda, which is the equivalent of IRS in Puerto Rico, that's not the industry's fault. But Puerto Rico is a really funny place. You know, there's this rally is something really, really important, but on the same day, there's also this concert, and everyone has his right to do a concert. Why not? I'm not arguing that fact, but it's sponsored by a beer, and not a single sponsorship from no one in the industry. The funny thing is that, going back to the special report done by Noticentro and Salimar Adames, funny thing is that from the industry, there only were 3 players. One dispensary owner, the first doctor who was certified to certify patients in medical cannabis, and a lawyer. Which is funny, because that same lawyer was aware that there was a view on the cannabis project recently and no one knew. And the thing is that we check on Calendary, and the hearing was not updated in the database of the Capitolio, which is our version of Congress. And the project was slated there. We keep track of that, but it's really funny how things work. I'm not gonna get into them, because I want to defend the industry as a whole, but they were participants. They were asked in this report. And besides the dispensary owner, I think the doctor didn't do bad himself, but the lawyer had to explain. He had the chance to say this, and he didn't dare. The problem here is the miscommunications between the Department of Health and the Hacienda, not the industry owners. But that's how Puerto Rico works. If we're screwing up somewhere, and I've told you about the whole erase me the tickets thing. So the thing is that we get stuck into this, because government, this has been the same story for 50 years in Puerto Rico. Government is sometimes, I don't like to say it's too big, but I think it is, in terms of salaries, in terms of so many things, yet it is not capable of working properly. the main issue of Puerto Rico making their tax money get into cash flow and making it functional. Let's say, for example, this week, 31 million plus to the budget of the Fortaleza, which is the equivalent of the White House in Puerto Rico, but 31 million less for Centro Médico, which is the main hospital in Puerto Rico, which is the main trauma area, the main area where the trauma is treated. And let's say this, in any hospital in Puerto Rico, you get a bump in the head, they're not going to treat you, they're going to send you to Centro Médico. Nobody in Puerto Rico, that's how things are fucked up out here. If you get, let's say, a really bad hit on the head, and they notice it at the hospital, you're going to get sent to Centro Médico. There's no two ways about that. That's how it works. That's why that facility, it is so important, and it has been so underfunded, as well as the Institute of Forensic Science. I had to wait 2 weeks to cremate my own father. 2 weeks. And they used the media to punish the employees, to blame it on employees, on underpaid employees. And now they're using the media in the height of tax season to make look as Hacienda is trying to do the best they can, but they cannot. They're tax evaders, and there's tax evaders from these so-called fine-end drug dealers, because that's how they want to sell medical cannabis. They want, even though the industry is doing a hard-ass work to work as it is, as an alternative medicine front, it's been sold this way. And it's really hard to grow as a society if we keep like trying to write on stones all the prohibitionism, all this madness. And if we keep doing that, we will keep hurting ourselves as a society. People from all walks of life, people from all kinds of religions have been seeing the power of medical cannabis. And the thing is that they have been, it is really something that pisses me off, because the debate has come now on the haters asking about the benefits, on the people who didn't believe on this starting to doing some actual research, which is a miracle considering that you work in this on Puerto Rico. It is a miracle. And then comes media, aided and instructed by the government. And I'm sorry to say this, it worked this way. The reason that I mention a lawyer is because what it feels to me is that it's a group that wants to get in to the medical cannabis industry in Puerto Rico, a wealthier group that there's people that hate the actual group, which is, like I stated, people who are made a bet, people who dare. Yeah, they are wealthy, they got some capital, but they're not sitting in their asses as the people who are coming in. Because this has become something, I never even thought that it was going to get into this level, that is almost to the level of the whole La Junta mess. It's right up on there. And why it is there? Because we're always skeptical. La Junta de Control Fiscal so evil. It's not a good thing. I'm not in favor of it. I don't want it to stay. But the thing is that it got a clause that the members can be changed and will be changed, and we will have a Republican version of that junta, which will be way worse than the lazy version that we have right now. We're thankful that we have a lazy version, because the government itself is so incompetent that it's capable enough to pull all the fuckery of the junta by itself. So when I'm scared now, when I'm really scared, you people are criticizing the actual industry. You people are criticizing so many stuff here. And I have friends of mine who are criticizing the actual people who are the cannabis industry of Puerto Rico. The thing is that this person, and I want you to look over at the report again, this person is bringing something worse. Mark my words for that. Because what I saw there is an attempt to discredit the actual industry, to bring in irresponsible people, irresponsible players. They're not here yet, but that's what I saw there. I wouldn't even encourage someone to watch that crap. Because I told you, they brought two issues. Tax evasion is Hacienda's fault. It's not their owner's fault. It's Hacienda and the department. It's the government's fault in all ways. The government is accountable, but they want someone else to blame. They need a bad guy. Problem with this bad guy is healing people. He's making lives better. Yeah, if you misuse it, you're gonna be all thrown into bed. You're gonna be couch locked, you're gonna be sleeping a lot, but you will not die. Because even with legalization, which was a scary point for many of us who monitor all of this, even through legalization, full-blown legalization, we still do not have a death. Compare these numbers to alcohol, cigarettes, which is what the medical cannabis industry is still compared to cigarettes and alcohol. Way healthier, less deaths, less fatalities, less violent incidents. Numbers are there, I'm not making them up. And if we take the medical cannabis industry, not only in Puerto Rico, but in the entire world, and we compare it to, and we made a comparison, right? I'm sorry for that one. If we make a comparison with the right industry needs to be compared to, which is the pharmaceutical industry, which the goals of the medical cannabis industry are very embedded on the pharmacological industry. The goals, I'm not talking about the inside goals of the companies or the industries. I'm talking about the goals that are health, that are attending issues on certain conditions. Those are which it needs to be compared to. And if we start taking pill by pill in any scenario, weed, marijuana, cannabis is way better. It's way better. Has less risk, has less long-term damage. And I used to take pills for mental health. And it was funny because the last time I got a prescription, doctor told me you have to come in and every 6 months we have to do a lab to check if you're okay. Why, if something that is there to help me, I need to do a lab test every 2 years to check if it's not killing me? Why? I don't have to do a lab test for cannabis. I just take it. Maybe if I did a little bit overboard, I rest a little, then it goes away, then I take more. That's how it works. But we want to keep demonizing this industry. We want to keep demonizing. And I'm telling you, folks, this is the better part of the industry that it is in Puerto Rico. Because I'm really scared right now that what they're trying to bring in, and I've seen the movement. There are many people from the outside. Many people. And yes, some of the actual industries, they need their additional spending in all the way, But and getting additional investment is nothing that is frowned upon. Like I told you, the actual industry of medical cannabis does not have any leverage, any political leverage on any side. They're in this by their own.